Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord. And yes, I have not lost all my hair, but it is no longer here. Anyway, really actually wanted to kind of battle prep about today because today is a very, very, very big deal. I am just absolutely reached my saturation with stupidity of crash videos and the fact that people want to argue all the time about how they were right to wait 2 years. So we all know that I love to say it's just math. So I will caution you, I am a landlord of 135 units now, 47 buildings. I know a little bit about a little bit, but I want to arm the audience with the data that's needed to stop the chatter. I get it. The economy's in recession or going to recession, depending on who you want to listen to. But let's just get real. I've been a kinder, gentler lumberjack. Tired of doing that because the numbers are the numbers. So I will be offensive this morning. I will melt many snowflakes this morning, but I have the data that will walk everybody through what they have been waiting for and realize that likely timing the market will be far worse than time in the market. So as I always like to say, it's really just math. So then let's get to the math because we've done the math. So in my trusty little whiteboard, isn't that gorgeous, right? Isn't that beautiful? What amazing production value you're saying. I know, I get it. But let's talk about the numbers. All right, we're going to go through these pretty quick. But the good news is you guys can always rewatch the content, which isn't the worst thing. So in 7/20, that is July of 2020, when the very first people started talking about a housing crash. Granted, we all know why. It was because of the great health event. I think that's what we're allowed to say. But 7/20 is when it all started. Let's look at it. 337 was the median home price. 337. The prevailing rate at that time was 3.07. That made your payment right over here, $1,433. That's what it made your payment. Okay, let's go a little bit further. That's when the first crash videos started to happen. I know, I looked. 1 of 21, that's January of 21. 369 is now the median price. 2.65 is now the mortgage rate. 2.65. Everyone's giddy. We're all starting to do refis. I'm like, holy cow, we got to start doing refis because these numbers are nuts. 2.65 on a $369,000 mortgage is $1,486. Now, we're talking price, right? We're talking rate, right? What's the most important thing? Do we buy something based on what it costs, or do we buy something based on what we can afford from a payment perspective? It's usually payment. Almost no one, unless they're buying it for cash, is buying solely on price. They're buying based on what the payment changes in their life and what they can then afford. I've only just gotten going. Let's go. 7/21, that's July of 2021. Crash videos everywhere. It's dominating YouTube. 382 is now the median sales price of a home. 382. 2.98 is the mortgage rate. Oh no, what's this mean? People are waiting because the crash is coming, everybody. It's coming. The crash is coming. $1,600. That's your payment. What do you mean it's gone up? Yeah, it's gone up. Rate's gone up a little bit. Price has gone up a little bit. Now your payment's $1,600. So in 2020 and 2021, when I am buying like a banshee, everyone's like, oh, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. Yeah, I'm dumb. Yeah, I'm dumb. So anyway, let's keep on going. Let's continue to see their theory tested. 122. Now we're all the way into 22. Now it's been a year and a half since these guys started calling crash. A year and a half. Hey, I'm bleeding out. I need a tourniquet. Don't worry, we'll get it to you in about a year and a half. That's if they were right in a year and a half, which they weren't. They weren't right. 122, $433,000 is the median home price. Why? Because 40% of the cash ever created was pushed into this market. And everyone's like, oh, it seems like it's okay. I think we're good. It's all right. We're going to be okay. Come on. 433 is the median home price. 3.10 is the rate. Guess what, everybody? Your payment just went up again. $1,848. That's okay, because all the YouTubers with the garbage channels, no problem. They're going to make it up to you. They're going to chip in that extra $200 from the previous month, from the previous 6 months earlier. They're going to chip in. It's cool. Yeah, they're in it for you guys. They're definitely not about clicks. 722, literally just this last July, officially 2 years since they started calling for a crash. 2 years. If you call something 2 years before it happens, but give no timeline to it, are you actually right? I don't think so. Not today, in honor of my brother Dion. So 722, 446 is the median home price. Guess what, everybody? Bye-bye 3, bye-bye 4. Rates are here. 5. 5.30 is your new rate, everybody. 5.30. $2,476 is your new payment. Sorry, here we go. $2,476 right there. Gorgeous, eh? Aren't you excited? Aren't you glad you waited? Guys, this is what we're talking about. I was trying to help people get on the property ladder, recognize that there's a good way to do this. 2 years, 2 years, now 2.5 years. 2.5 years since they started calling for a crash, but we're not even peaked yet. Get this, 10/22. This is as of this month, literally just a week ago. Let's just say the median price is down to 430. They believe that's what the projection is for Q3 number for 2022. Looked everywhere trying to find that data. And it was kind of like, this is kind of the average, 430. Let's just say it's right. 430K, 6.70% is the mortgage rate. What does that make your payment? 3 guesses. First 2 don't count. Is it higher? Whoops. It's a lot higher. It's now $2,774. If I hear one more time about housing's not affordable, then you know what? I don't walk into the Ferrari or the Lamborghini store and go, these cars aren't affordable. No, they're not affordable to me. I can't buy it. It doesn't mean it's not affordable to anyone else. Do you realize how many dual income families there are out there that make over $200,000 a year? There's a ton of them. Do you know that per Mike from One Rental at a Time, top 10% of people make over $170,000 a year? And a lot of times those are dual income families. That certainly keeps prices going. But let's just dial it back a notch, because I don't want to blow up my vocal cords by the time that I'm done, although I don't think I will. All I'm having to say to everybody here is watching crash videos for 2.5 years has gotten you a $2,774 a month payment with a 6.7% rate. Let's just get nutty. The main reason that these prices continue to escalate was cash in the market. The other reason was low interest rates. Now interest rates are starting to clobber demand. It's called demand destruction. Now that they're finally starting to clobber demand, yeah, that's great. But how much has it actually slowed things down? It's reducing inventories as well. If you bought here, 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 even here, you aren't going to move anytime soon. Something like 93% of the human race in the state, in the country, in the US, 90+% have a 5% or lower mortgage. Why would they ever get rid of it? Why would they get rid of it? Let's just get nutty. Let's say the market goes down 20%. Why does it go down 20%? It doesn't go down 20% arbitrarily. It's going to go down 20% because rates are going to continue to climb past 6.7 in the 7s, maybe even in the 8s. What does that make your payment? Even if the market goes down 20%, you're still looking at about the same size payment. And you missed all of this because you got to have your funny bone tickled by a bunch of crash artists that were looking for clicks. So all I got to say is I wanted to drop some knowledge this morning. I'm sick and tired of the argument. I wanted to arm you guys when you're trying to have conversations with defending your position. Listen, I've been told it's rude at parties to just break out what your bank statement says. I've been told that's rude. So I wanted to arm you guys with the data that you needed to make sure that when you have to have that conversation with somebody, fine, let's have the conversation. But if you do the numbers and you do the math, we might go up another year in payment price, 6 months in payment price. We might continue to go up in payment price. You think you're ever going to see 1433 again? Not likely. So hopefully I didn't melt too many snowflakes. Hopefully I didn't hurt too many feelings, but I rest my case on your face. It's the way it goes. Like, I just don't know what to do when people want to argue the math and argue the numbers. Even if you get a 20% decline, that's going to be based on lack of demand. And it's going to be because rates continue to rise. You might be lucky. 722, July of this year, a 5.3 mortgage with a $2,476 payment. You might be lucky to see that again. And for all those people saying, well, you can always refi when it goes down. You can always refi because the rates are going to go down. Tell me how long the rates went down from 1978 to 1984 or 1983. 5 years, 6 years, and then you finally start to taper down. That means you're a renter for 6 more years. So I don't want to hear, I'm timing the market. I'm timing the market. The cost of waiting, look at the tax benefits. We haven't even covered in here. Don't worry, we will. I'm feeling really shouty. We're probably going to cover that stuff in the next couple of weeks because I want to make sure we have all of our numbers right. Because I bought a house 2 years ago. I got a low 3% rate. And I don't see selling ever because I don't think we're ever getting to 3 again. I really don't. Maybe world war, maybe something else crazy happens, but I really don't see it. And I see that if something that crazy happens to get us to 3, the likelihood of Joe Blow, the regular schmo, getting a mortgage, good luck, because that's the first group of people that banks tighten up on. I know I was that guy in 07 when I had to literally bathe in beef broth to get a dog to play with me. It was a nightmare. And I went bank to bank to bank. And I didn't just talk to loan guys. I talked to their VPs. I talked to senior lenders. They would not give people money. So I'm just saying, I think we need to just everybody step back. Let's embrace the math and let's just chill out a little bit about all this lunacy about how, oh, I'm just waiting out the market till next year. You've been paying rent likely for 3 years and you should have bought when people in the game said you should have bought. That's all I'm going to say about that matter. So anyway, the good news is I didn't just do that for one person. So that's the good news. But anyway, want to jump in, talk to you guys. Like I said, always appreciate that you're here. And yes, you heard my number change, 135 units, 47 buildings. I'm tired, but it was fun nonetheless. So that being said, let's see, big week this week. Yeah, we closed on my 50-40-10 deal. The single family home. And I got to tell you, just an emotional moment for me because you never really I knew it was the right thing to do, even though the numbers, the margin wasn't really there. Knew it was the right thing to do. And when you can make people tear up at a closing table, you knew you did the right thing. And quite frankly, that attitude of gratitude is really, I really appreciated it. It was a great moment for me. It was a great moment for them. I know that they can essentially live the rest of their life in their home and not have to worry about auctioneers showing up on their front steps, because I know that actually happened to them twice in the last couple of years. So I'm really excited for that deal. And then did a 4-unit that's a gut rehab. You will be seeing that in coming videos. I also did a 5-unit that's also going to be a gut rehab. You'll be seeing that in videos as well. So as you guys always know, on Saturdays or Sundays, excuse me, I always have my phone, looking down my phone, because we always have people in the field working for us. So if you see me glance down, I'm not trying to be rude, but I am trying to make sure that my people in the field have what they need. All right. That being said, let's roll with some super chats. Good morning, guys. Phil Nealon, thanks for the Sunday show. Winter is coming. Man, like you read about, it is coming hard and fast. It was 34 degrees this morning when I woke up. Siberia is on its way. Janitor on fire, bringing the passion this morning. Yeah, sorry for all the shouting. Probably should have adjusted my mic downward so I wasn't blasting you guys out. But yeah, honest to God, with these stupid crash sites, I'm tired of holding my tongue. I'm tired of being nice. Like, enough is enough of this stupid. You know, I'm not saying that the house isn't going to go down 10%. In fact, I actually called it. I'm not saying it's not going to go down 20%. In fact, I actually called it. All I'm saying is rates will likely be in the 7s, 6s, 8s. They're going to still stay there and they're going to be elevated. How much longer you want to be a renter? You missed it. And you missed it because you listened to channels that were tickling your funny bone, as opposed to actually trying to look for as many different data sources as you possibly could to get real input from real people buying in the markets today. I don't need to talk my book. I don't care if they go down 50%. I don't care. And guess what? For you to get the price that you want to get, and for you to get the payment that you want to get, you need them to go down about 45%. So if you're right, congratulations to you. You're right. And it will take years, because from 2020 till whenever that happens, let's say 2024, I had 4 years of income. I had 4 years of pay down. I had 4 years of tax benefits on my personal residence and on my income residences. So, all right, now we're going to take a little breath. We're going to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to bring this in. I purposely moved it far away from you guys. Didn't want to blast you. So anywho, let's jump into some questions. Janet Santiago, good morning, Matt. Hope you're well. Happy to be here for your live stream. Janet, we've missed you. Glad you're here as well. Janitor on fire, good morning. Good morning. Matt Bittner, good morning. Is there such thing as a Section 8 evictions? Do you have experience with Section 8 evictions? Yes, I do. Yes, there are. And yes, they suck. I don't know if this is national, and I'm newer to the program. I've only been a landlord in the program for about 2 years now. I can tell you that you still have a lease in place. They still have to adhere to the rules of the lease. If they don't, you can evict based on that. Any rental increases need to be 60 days in advance. And those are the main differences that I pick up on and how it's done in my state. So I can still evict. Obviously, I'm getting payment, but you can also evict if you're not getting their payment, their portion of the rent. So I have a number of them that are full boat, which means they pay everything. And then I have some that are partial, which only pay maybe Section 8 pays 75%. So yeah, you can do it. Yeah, they take a long time. But all evictions are taking a long time right now. Ironwood Workman, good morning. Good morning to everybody. Appreciate the kindness, Ironwood. Matt Bittner, in Section 8, nope, already did that one, sorry. How severely does an eviction impact the tenant's credit score? So an eviction just going into court and you getting an eviction from them does not impact their credit score unless it's reported. So I haven't seen, I don't know how much it affects them other than taking the debt and selling it to a credit agency. So I don't know how that actually gets reported. I think that actually comes up on background check, but I'd have to double check because I've only done 9 evictions in my 22 years of landlording. I'm not an eviction expert. I'm having to become one because we inherited a lot of tenants that are quite frankly lousy tenants. And so we're in the transition phase right now of basically jettisoning the pod, because yeah, we've now had them for 3, 6, 9 months. We've tried corrective measures and those have not worked. And so au revoir. Matt Bittner, if a landlord does not want to participate in Section 8 anymore, how hard is it to get out? You can get out. Yeah, I mean, I rent my units based on not who's paying the rent, but based on what the rental unit is. So I rent my units based on that. You don't have to take it out of the program or put it in the program or anything like that. If you're evicting somebody and getting somebody out and they're Section 8, when you're done and you do the rehab of the work, you just post the video. You don't have to call Section 8 and say, hey, I've got a unit for you guys to rent out. You don't have to do that. And again, even my Section 8 tenants, they have the same qualifications or have to have the same qualifications. They have to have the same qualifications that a normal, and when I say normal, I mean normal financed, like their job, i.e. not a program. Same rules apply. 680 credit score, 3x income. And when you look at the 3x income, it's for their portion of the income. It has to go a little bit differently kind of in their favor, because obviously if Section 8's paying all of their rent, they also can't have zero income because there's other utilities and things like that in the house that they have to pay for. We don't want to set people up for a loss. Dan Lee, good morning. Good morning. Porky, wake up, lumberjack landlord. Early bird gets the worm. I know, right? I'm a shouty shouter today. That's all right. Better at you guys than at my kids, I suppose. I'm not a yeller at my kids. Only to get their attention. Kip, SOS Investment Properties. Good morning. Good morning. Janitor on fire. Wow. Porky, waiting is for renters. Well said. Janitor on fire. Numbers don't lie. That's very true. Laura San Diego. Good morning, everyone. Dion, what's up, my buddy? Yowdy. Ironwood Workman. They have built many apartment complexes in Montana, but it drove up the rentals on houses like mine. Yep. You cannot find a house to rent in that city that I'm invested in. So that's one of the things that I recognized about the city before I started doing business in those cities. I started looking at what these guys were going to do and what the plans in the city were. And there were massive buildings. Well, I knew that their rents, what their projected rents were going to be. I would find out that there was going to be a development. I would find out, this is actually really smart. If I do say so myself, I would find out there was going to be development. I would find out that I would call that company and say, do you guys have projected rents? And some do and some don't. Some will share, some won't. It's usually that they do have them and they won't share them. They obviously have them because that's what they're doing. They're giving a pro forma statement to the bank saying this is what our expected rents are going to be based on market, blah, blah, blah. And so when I would ask them, they would say, oh yeah, our studios are going to start at $2,200. My 3 bedrooms are $2,200. They're like, well, but you have amenities like a gym. I'll give them a membership to Planet Fitness for $10. Like, the numbers were insane. They still remain insane. So now I see in that same market, 1 bedrooms for as much as $2,800. That's nuts. When I first moved to this market and I was started in this market 15 years ago, 1 bedrooms were about $750. $750. Now that number's insane. That's for a brand new property. That's for a, look, we have restaurants downstairs. Look, we have a gym downstairs. Look, we have a doorman. Overhead, 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 overhead. That's what I hear. So at the end of the day, there are people that do want to live there. There are young professionals that are living there. Absolutely. But usually I've gotten a number of tenants from there. So that raising all the prices like Ironwood's talking about certainly raises all the pricing. However, I can tell you that a number of people after living there a year, they came and became my renter. And why? Because they're like, dude, I'm not paying $2,800 a month anymore. The good news for me, they're thrilled at paying $1,800 a month. I don't have a gym downstairs, unless you want Dwight Schrute's version of a gym in the back room. but they're thrilled. And at 1,800, they're thrilled. At 1,800, I'm thrilled because when I bought the building, they were $750. So I guess time in the market's a pretty cool thing. Anywho, let's see. Beth Traverso. Good morning, Beth. Lumberjack fired up. Yeah, I know, right? Yep. Yeah, it's a problem. I thought the shaved head would actually help deliver the message a little bit better too. There's this angry shaved head guy yelling about pricing and calling people idiots. All happened. Matt Bittner. It's hard to imagine any presidential administration at this point sitting by and following mass foreclosures. I would another forbearance program to be rolled out regardless of who's in the White House. There aren't all the foreclosure problems you think there are, Matt Bittner. There just aren't. I haven't seen any of the numbers that are anywhere near what they were, even in normal times. In normal times, we're 125 to 150,000 foreclosures a month. I don't think we're anywhere near that. Last number I saw, we weren't anywhere close. What happened, and the reason why foreclosures were such a problem in 08, 9, and 10, the reason that they were such a problem then was because we were already starting all those foreclosures with a year's worth of inventory or close to a year's worth of inventory sitting on the market. So when you have 3 or 3.5 million homes already out there, and then you're adding 300,000 homes a month to a horrible market, guess what? Now the price has to go down because there's way more supply than there is demand. We're nowhere near that number. We're still, 1,300,000, 1,400,000 as far as listings goes, 1,500,000. That's definitely slowed down a lot. And I think more will be coming. But we've got a long way to go. And on the foreclosure side, they're still not getting to the other side of foreclosure. Even the foreclosures that I'm seeing, it's nowhere near even a normal foreclosure market in my market. And the stuff that's hitting the market is junk. It's stuff that was way, way, way overvalued that somebody did a cash out refi on and somebody did a desk appraisal on. That's the kind of stuff that I'm seeing hit. So I don't see that stuff coming. And Bittner, you're a smart guy because I know you ask a lot of great questions. I think forbearance maybe is possible, but it's not probable. I don't think by any stretch, because I think that there's still not a lot of inventory out there, and banks at this point, they look at it and say they owe 150 grand on their house. It's still worth 300. 50% of America, 50% of America has more than 50% equity in their home. There's a lot to give back there. So did you guys hear my cheers squeaking, begging for mercy? New chair, got to clean it up a little bit. Sorry. BD Rentals Investment Properties. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Lumberjack Landlord, what is your minimum cap rate for investing in rentals? I don't do cap rate. I figure what all of my expenses are minus what my gross rents are. And then that gives me what I call a return on my capital, i.e. what I put into the deal, then what those rents are that are going to give me and pay me back over time. But I'm usually above 20%. And my stuff that's seasoned is in the high 20s, low 30s, ranging all the way to 40%. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Ironwood Workman, I remember the 1980s, 16% interest rates. Yep. And my uncles were buying houses all the time. I was in my teens, but working my ass off for them. So I knew a little bit about a little bit. And that's what I'm saying. When you're doing it at 16%, all that matters is that the deal's cash flow at 16%. They weren't buying at 16% going, hey, next year, the rate's going to be 12. They didn't know. No one knows. But it went all the way to 16. And then it had to tick back down from there. So it's great that everyone thinks that it's just going to happen like this and that it's going to turn everybody. We're going to go from 6.7% rates, now 7s, and we're going to go back down to the 3s. Don't count on it. And if we do, it's because some other calamity has occurred. It's going to take a long time to get back down to those numbers, years, if we ever do. BD Rentals, what do you expect the rent costs to go up? So we looked at FMR. I think rents continue to rise. Any way you like it, rents continue to rise. And we saw it this week. We reached for the stars on a couple of units just to test it. We didn't get the stars, but we got the moon. 1900 went for $23.95. 1200 went for $17.95. And then another one that was 1300 just went for $16.95. 20%. Yeah, those were those were units that people moved out of that we reintroduced to the market. If you're an existing tenant, we do like Dion's binder strategy. We kind of have that conversation with you saying, hey, these are some of the areas around you, what they're priced at currently. You know, what do you think is fair? If I can do it, I'm happy to do it. If I can't, I understand that I can't. And we're sad to lose you. Let's see. Pallavi, good morning, everyone. Hairstyle. Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you call it that, it's more just like great set of shears. Corby Carter, good morning, Corby. BD Rentals. In PA, if a Section 8 tenant is evicted, they lose their benefits for a period of time. It's in their best interest to behave. Yes, that's absolutely true, but they only, if you look at the clauses, they only lose it if it's an eviction based on broken lease, not if you get like a rehab eviction. They will actually not throw you out of the program for that. In New Hampshire, you get tossed out of that program, you're out of that program, which I kind of did. Consequences for doing the wrong thing. So it's kind of good. That eviction will show up when they apply for future rentals. That's a big no for me on reviewing apps. So I think that's Kevin. Kevin, tell me how that does. Tell me how that shows up. Does it show up in the credit? And if so, who's reporting it? Because I don't think if you're doing a normal credit report, I don't know that it actually shows up. I think it might show up on background. Sam Farho. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Sam. BD Rentals Investment Properties. Bittner, don't list your units with Section 8, but allow the use of their benefits. Yep. Yeah, so basically if you post them on wherever you're posting your units and then allow Section 8 to rent from you, that's basically, I think, what BD is saying. I think that's Kevin. If I'm wrong, Kevin, you can correct me. Ninja Vanish, are you coming to the Fresno event? I don't think so. I haven't talked to Mike about it yet. So I don't know. We haven't touched base. Let's see. Ryan Allen. Hello. Late but made it here. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Lexi. Unless you're hanging out with Nana. Daniel Fior. Rentoids with pets are a gigantic red flag. Rentoids with pets are a gigantic. Okay. I don't know what a rentoid is. I like pets, actually. Dion and I both like pets. We're good. I'm much more about the pet owner than I'm about the pet itself. The only time that I discredit or that I deny on the pet is if my insurance doesn't cover them. That's usually the only time that I'm going to say no on a pet, or if I know that it's like a 175-pound mastiff that's going in a 2-bedroom on the second floor of a 1-bedroom apartment. That doesn't work. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Christopher Leroy, real estate is strong here. Thank you, Leroy. I appreciate that. Christopher, I mean. Ironwood Workman. I know a lot about building and remodeling, but I'm very weak on renting rental side. I need to get better. Just a process. If you got good at construction, you can get good at rentals. It's fairly straightforward stuff. It's really a lot of data inputs. I encourage them to do a rent box. I have a rent box. When I'm going to post a unit, I look and see whatever the stuff is rented for in the last couple of weeks that's been posted. I kind of track it for 2 or 3 weeks before we hit the market, usually 2. But I track it for 2 or 3 weeks before it hits the market. If you're a newbie, try probably 3 or 4. That way I can really start to see what the trends are. And I can put my unit out there properly priced. And so if I also, one of the other things that I've done too is I've pumped up the number a little bit and said discount for a 2-year lease, because I know I'm not going to raise rents in 2 years. And if they want a $50 off or whatever for 2 years, and I know that I don't have a turn that I have to do, that's sometimes something that I've done in the past. So yeah, certainly something that's an option. Optimus Prime. Welcome to our planet. Is it okay to break even for a few years on a first owner occ multifamily? Hard to find money makers with FHA loans since conventional or can buyers will usually scoop up great deals first. Optimus, I'd tell you to be patient, my man. I'd tell you to be patient. Oh man, Marlene and Rob, put those messages back in there. I want to see it. It's okay if you disagree with me. You can even call me an idiot. I'm good. I just want to see what you have to say. Marlene and Rob, come on, guys. It's not fun if you take it out. Put it in. Let's see. So yeah, so I would tell you that you just need to be patient. I would be doing the work every single day, looking at the numbers every single day. That's going to tell you more what you need to know. If the deals aren't making sense, potentially look at a different asset. I always look at different assets within the same area before I start changing areas. That's the best advice that I can give you. But yeah, if it's not making sense, but you can run it. So Dion, I know, runs it based on like 20% down. I get why he does that, but you know, again, if you're putting FHA in and you'd have to be writing a check, if in that house hack, because that's a house hack, yeah, owner occ multi, on the owner occ multi, you just have to count your rent in whatever unit you're in. And if then you're still break even, then that's probably not the best deal. But I would keep on searching to that end and keep on building up that spreadsheet, because that market might be one of those markets where the margins are still so thin that it's just kind of never going to work and you're always going to be behind. So I don't like deals that are negative when I'm getting into it. So yeah, that's my thing. What is the best way to report evictions so that other landlords will see them? So I believe that they come up on the background stuff. I don't know if they come up on the credit stuff. You as the landlord can call the credit agencies and you can call them and tell them, you know, I have proof of eviction. I don't know. We hadn't gone to that degree before. We haven't needed to, because to me, in my eyes, that's really something that we would do based on the person doing the wrong thing. And our evictions in the past have been kind of agreed to evictions, if that makes sense. A couple of them weren't, but because she got evicted in the courts, I know that that's then public record. Right now, Lexi is with Nana today. See, I knew it. We do not accept pets because we own or occupy, and Lexi is allergic. Yep. We did make an exception for tenants with fancy rats caged. Okay. Okay. I'd be so scared if they got out. I've dealt with a rat before, or rats before. They are MFers. They're the worst. They are amazing beasts. They can chew through metal. They can chew through plastic. They chew through water lines. They chew through wood. Rats' teeth grow at an amazing rate. And because of that, they are always looking to file them down. So they look for hard things to chew that will keep their teeth filed down so they're not bucktooth rats. So true story. But yeah, man, rats, you're a better man than me. Let's see. Nicholas Massey. Sup, Matt? New haircut? Who dis? Yeah, exactly. It's me. Yep. I knew I had to deliver an aggressive message this morning, and I said nothing better than not doing it with a hat on, I guess, and hitting it hard with this action. Yep. Let's see. Rob Toyer. Good morning, you beautiful bald man. Good morning, Rob. Sorry you sent it before I could finish. That's all. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Your turn, Marlene. I'm waiting for you. You asked, or you made a comment. I definitely want to see it. Phil Nealon, since Dion convinced you about the hair, I'm sure he convinced you about retiring soon. Be doing more YouTube if the unit rehabs when you have time freed up. Yeah, so I reached out to my cameraman this week because we do film it with a camera crew. So I did reach out to him this week, and we're just trying to pick a date because we're actually probably going to film for yard sale season's largely over for us. We did it yesterday again. Kids love it. That's how we get our family time in on Saturdays. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a great summer doing that with the kids. But yeah, with it being cold on Saturdays now, we'll probably be doing walkthroughs Probably doing walkthroughs on apartments and stuff on Saturdays, just because we have a bunch of them that are just about to start. We have a 4-unit gut. We have a 4-unit gut that we started a few months ago. That was the 160-year-old house. And so, yeah, we're definitely doing videos, walking through them. You guys can see the kind of construction that we have to work with. And then you'll be able to see the process and the finished product. And it's pretty incredible. All-nighter hider. I'm here now. We can start. Damn, I knew I was waiting for something. All-nighter hider. If you weren't 40 minutes late, I could have waited. So anyway. Sam Farho, how do you decide if you can add a room to a house or not? What do you look for to add easy, less expensive room? I see homes with no HOA that can be done, but I want to learn the skill. So learning the skill is really looking at the floor plans. If you have a 14 by 22 room, I would find a way to split that. It's usually just big rooms that you can split, or the biggest conversion that I do is turning like a den into a living room, because the den is usually off of the living room and the kitchen's usually over here. And then you have the living room here and the dining room over here. And then in some rooms, like in a ranch that I did, they had this massive 16 by 12 formal dining room. Nope, not in my house. It's not going to be. So converted that to a massive bedroom. Now it comes, but the thing is though, is it's a ranch. And so you've basically got you've got the kitchen, you've got the living room over here, which is a big, huge living room. Living room is like 22 by 14, maybe. It's a big, huge living room, but the kitchen's right there. So you get the kitchen here, living room here. Well, then you've got basically a hallway, and you've got the bathroom right here. You've got bedroom. And this was a big, huge dining room. So I converted that. Now, we did a bunch of soundproofing stuff and things like that, so the room outside doesn't bother anybody. But the fact of the matter is the parents are probably going to be the ones with that massive bedroom, because the other ones are about half the size. So it's a great bedroom. Again, beats the heck out of a formal dining room. So yeah, I wasn't really interested in having a 2-bed, 1.5 bath. I had a 3-bed, 1.5 bath. So that's how I did it. The skill really is just understanding square footage. And if you need to, one of the things I would encourage you to do is just grab a thing of masking tape and start to see and feel it. Just put down masking tape and where the lines are that you would be. I saw the house, I think, of the picture that you listed. But I think if you look at the ones that you listed, I think that if it's that picture, I'd probably get ready for like a bigger gut. If it's on city water, you're okay. And city sewer, if you're on a septic, it's going to hurt you, because the septics are designed based on house size, not even based on square footage. It's usually based on bedrooms. So it's like a 3-bed septic or a 4-bed septic. So if you're on city water, if you're on city waste, if you're on those two, usually you can then start to play around with the configurations. But in those particular cases, you can kind of draw out what you want. The other thing you can do too is you can reach out, like look on like Fiverr or something like that. And you can find somebody for $100, $200, give them the dimensions and say, how would you split this up to get the most use of space out here with having hallways and things like that? I think the problem with the plan that I saw from you was there was a bedroom here, the bath was up here, and then there's another bedroom up here. So what you could do, and I don't think this bedroom was big enough to move that to the edge, if you will. So yeah, I think that you'd have to have a hallway in there. I think that's where that one becomes a challenge. Oh, let's see. Rob Toyer, I've got rats underneath one of my rentals and I'm paying pest control now. It's eating into my profit margin big time and my tenants aren't happy about it either. Yeah, it's the worst. Look online. There is the thing that works best is the big, huge rat traps. And then you put creamy peanut butter on there. And then you put mouse food or bird seed. Put that stuff on there. They work. They work. The battle that I had, we got a dozen dead ones. A dozen. They actually reproduce. I believe it's every 21 to 28 days. You want to get in there. You want to get that cycle before they have babies. I don't love poison because a lot of that poison is neurological and it can take 5 to 7 days to kill the rat. And so if it does that, you don't know if it's killing that in your walls. And then that thing does something called off-gassing, which basically means it's deteriorating. And that's when it starts to happen. And then you get this stink. And good luck getting rid of that stink. Usually you have to open up the wall, find it, hope you get the right wall. Then you're doing sheetrock repair, all that other stuff. So I like the regular rat traps and peanut butter and mouse food. Yep. And then they make these black ones where they put the poison inside those too. Like I said, they eat that and then they walk away. BD Rentals. My post was too big for the chat, so I PM'd you on Facebook. Okay. I'll look at it. Marlene Green. Hey, Marlene. Thanks for coming to the channel, Marlene. I am not buying because it's just too expensive in Denver for a single person. Totally get that. Yep. Especially if older. Yep. Income not going up and not enough money left over to save. Guess I need to move to another state. Not necessarily. I mean, if you want to, if you really want to stay in that state, you can. And so more of that argument is towards the argument that I posted was all these people saying crash, 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 crash. What I wouldn't want to see somebody do is have waited the last 2 or 3 years waiting for a crash, then thinking it's going to happen, waiting another 2 or 3 years, then it not really happening. And then you spent 7 or 8 years in a market where you didn't even get a chance to buy something. So that's more what my stuff is geared towards. I totally get being single. I was single until basically I was 30. So I totally get it. And for me, the way that I live my life, which is very different, I focused everything that I had on making sure I can get into a house, and that's where house hacking went. So Marlene, if you haven't considered a house hack, I would take a look at a house hack because it's kind of like having roommates, but at the same time not, because they just live in other units around your building. So the 4321 model, I had a 25-year-old that I worked with. He could not buy a single family home. No way. Couldn't qualify, didn't, all the different reasons. The cool thing was he ended up buying a fourplex, bought a fourplex. Now he lives there for free and gets paid $1,000 a month to live there. He's like, this completely changed my life. He's not wrong. It did completely change his life. So I totally get it. I totally get not wanting to be house poor. Totally agree with you. Nicholas Massey, my new duplex fully rented, have my single family home rented, and in the process of building ADU on that property. Awesome. Struggling with buying a new primary that's bigger and renting my current primary to get to a new rental. Nice. Nicholas, try and go to another multi. See if you can do it. If you can move towns or something like that, see if you can do it. Ryan Allen, looking forward to more product reviews, having him an Amazon wish list started. Awesome. Yeah, we're doing the one that I'm doing a couple now. They're for sheetrock stuff. So framing, sheetrock. We have some really cool stuff coming. We expected to be doing that project about a month ago. We just had some delays with a couple of contractors, but now that those delays are done, those next phases of the job are coming in there, and so I'll be able to show you guys some pretty cool product. Let's see. Contact Aaron from Garden Answer. Learn how to do your own videos from him. Not to be rude, but your videographer lacked. Okay, sounds good. I'm not going to do my own videos. I got 135 units to take care of. So somebody's got to show up and shoot it. Chester Williams, what's up, Matt? What's up, Chester? Good to have you, my man. Angel R, thank you for the triple fire. I felt like it. That was on fire. Felt like it. Ryan Allen, chocolate chips and the peanut butter is good too. Oh, interesting. I've not done that one yet. Interesting. Yeah, the mouse food that worked awesome with the peanut butter. We were rat free within 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I think we were rat free, which is nice. Nicholas Massey, I know you have a lot of units. Do you ever wish you bought less units but more expensive units? My units are pretty expensive. My units are like by the door. By the door, my units are, they range from 100 to 300, 350. That's how much I pay. That's about the cost of my stuff per door. We have a couple outliers that are more, like 400 and 450, but yeah, my doors are 100 to, and I don't wish for a more expensive market. I love the market that I'm in. I learned how to make a lot of money in it. I don't think that Mike loves Fresno, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but he picked Fresno because the numbers worked. Like, he picked Fresno because it made sense, because he tried to make the Bay Area work for a year or two. Couldn't make the Bay Area work, and you can't find stuff much more expensive than the Bay Area. So for me, I think I'm in a pricey market per door, 100 to 350. Yeah. So I think I'm in a pretty pricey market. You know, 350,000 for a door that's an apartment, not a house. You know, do that math. It's a pretty expensive rent, insurance, principal and interest payment. Chester Williams is exactly right. At Nicholas Massey, as long as the yield scales. That's the key, guys. It's return on my capital. I will buy $100,000 deal with 10%. Much rather do that than buy a $300,000 deal with 3%. So for me, it's all about my return on capital. That's always the focus, is how much money is this thing going to pay me to own it. Sam Farho, just realized there is no HOA. Yep, there can be a deed restriction that can restrict what you can do on the property. HOA is deed restriction. HOE is deed restriction different from HOA. I don't know that. I don't know, because I don't do anything with HOAs or in areas where there are deed restrictions. Everything for me is always looking at zoning. So I'm always focused on the zoning stuff. Robert Fiorinelli, super chat. Hello, Matt. Got a quick 5 or 6 questions for you. I'll determine whether or not they're quick. Hopefully I can answer them quickly. Thanks for the super chat. Robert Fiorinelli, first off, nice haircut. Thank you very much. And thanks for the advice on vanities. Lowe's was good, but got a local guy, got me 100% plywood marble top for $550. That's great. Yeah, like I was talking about, they're the best big box store. But if you can get that local guy that can put something together for you pretty good and can give you a granite top with a bowl, the sink bowl, awesome. Absolutely great. Good. Should I try to replace a 3-way shower valve? It's low to the tub spout, and I think it would rip out stuff and add pipes to move it up. I wouldn't. I mean, it depends. Like, how old is it? You know, all of those other factors, right? It depends on what else you're doing. If you have, let's put it this way. If I have the wall open and I recognize something like that, we take the time to put it up because we already have the wall open. If we buy a unit where something like that exists, not spending the time to open up a wall, bring it up higher, not doing that. So we will put the time in if the wall's already open. If the wall's not already open, unless it's leaking, unless it's causing a problem, we would leave it. People missed out on the appreciation waiting for the crash. Yeah, they did. Hugely. In fact, 337 to 446 worth of appreciation. So yeah, that's $109,000 just between plans. So what they have to hope is, right, is that you go from 446 down to, 337 again. The problem is that rates aren't going to be at 3. They're going to be 6, 7, 8. So you still don't have the same payment. So I was an idiot here. 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 Because I just closed on something I bought a month ago. I guess I'm an idiot. Now, I get return on capital because those are rentals. But even on a single family home, yeah, would I be buying right now? I don't think so, but it's the decision that you made a year ago that's costing you that's costing you now. So I think that I would be looking at the market. I would still be doing my homework every day because I would want to start to see when exactly there is some capitulation. It'll be interesting to see if national median home prices go from 446 to 430. It's projected. That return that data is supposed to be out. That data is supposed to be out in the next week or two. So I'm interested to see what that number is. For sure. Don and Bev Perkins. Hey guys. Do the traps. Yeah, do the traps. Yep. but also go to Home Depot and get a few small peppermint plants and put them anywhere you don't want the rats. Peppermint is a natural deterrent. Very cool. Didn't know that about peppermint. Thankfully, I fixed my problem with peanut butter. Damasta, looked on your site for the electronic deadbolts, can't find it. Can you point me to tell me what to use? Oh, I don't have it here. Yes, Damasta. If you look on the Landlord product reviews, so look on the Landlord product reviews videos, in there is a link. That link, if by chance they're sold out on that link on my Landlord video, it will actually show you that product and then the other sellers that are carrying it. But that way you can see exactly where I bought it and what I paid for. Hopefully that helps. Matt Bittner, 22 caliber rat shot works. It does, unless they're in the walls. So I appreciate the enthusiasm, Bittner. Robert Finelli, brand and finish you would use for a bathroom sink. I know you use nickel in the kitchen. Is it the same in the bathroom? Yep, been looking at Delta, Moen, and Kohler. I don't do Moen. I usually will either do Delta or Kohler. Yep. The way that I look at fixtures is it costs as much money to install them, whether you bought a cheapie or a good one. And the cheapies, like Glacier Bay and things like that, over time, like even in a year or two, you'll start to see the spray diverters start to get corroded. You'll start to see that the finish stains. Yeah, not a fan of those cheap products. We almost always will go with a Delta or a Kohler, almost always. Yep, good question. And yeah, satin nickel. We usually like to keep it uniform. Christopher Leroy, in your market on a new purchase now, what is your cash on cash return? New purchase, cash on cash return. The deal that I just did was 21. The deal I just did was the deal I just closed on Friday. Yesterday, 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. That deal I just closed on 2 days ago was 21. Yeah. Yep. All-nighter. Have you ever heard of establishing an HOA on a single property to have more control over that property? Just saw the concept on a channel called Privacy Fight. I want to learn more. Very interesting. I'd be interested to interesting. Yeah, I'd probably want to learn more. Yeah. I think learning stuff like that is always cool. I think that, there's companies out there, like some people open up an LLC for every property they sell or buy. That's a lot of administrative cost. It's a lot. And I've got an attorney coming on in a couple weeks who's spectacular, who was sued, and she's going to tell you all about that story. And Kate, if you're watching, yes, it's you. Right now, does it allow me to post a link for you, Matt? No, thanks for trying. It does not. And the type of permissions that I have to give people are way too aggressive of permission. So as much as I like you, Ryan, I don't give it that permission. Not even Dion has that permission on my channel. But yeah, thanks for asking. So it's, yeah, right in the Landlord product reviews, you'll see it right in there. All right, finally. Where are you buying Rockwell Safe and Sound now? Depot doesn't have it. Lowe's wants a minimum order of 12, only need 48 square feet for the bathroom. La Valley, Middleton. Yep, La Valley, Middleton. That's where you can get it. Nicholas Massey. How do you set up your accounts? Do you have one account for every rental? No, I have one account for all of my rentals in one account. Do you have deposit accounts so you don't spend that money? Nope, I have all the money go into one account and then we pay all the bills for all the properties out of that account. It's a trust account because that's how we hold all of our properties. Do you have an account for maintenance and repairs? Nope, same goes into that same account. We have one where we have like a reserve account where we just kind of keep 50 grand there just in case we need to grab it if we had to. And so we can get into access into that account if we need to. But yeah, that's how we do it. Just one. Guys, I am absolutely sweating my brains out here in my sweatshirt. So I'm going to do crazy live television thing. I'm literally going to go and get a t-shirt on because I'm dying in a sweatshirt. And I don't want to get banned from YouTube with what that alternative is. I'll be right back. Much better. So glad you guys were able to. Yeah, no, you don't get to see that. No. I would know. We don't get banned off of YouTube. Inappropriate video. Maybe that's next. The OnlyFans Lumberjack channel. Don't bet on it. All right. So Nicholas. Let's see. Yeah, so that's how we do it. So we don't have a separate repairs and maintenance account. Comes all out of that same account. That way we get all of our accounting right then and there. The only thing that we maintain separately is we have that emergency account we maintain separately. And we have the security deposit account, which we maintain separately. Yep. Domestic, going through an eviction now. It's been 30 days out here. Guy still wants to get his crap out, and I don't want to hire people to drag it all to the dump. So your experience, do they come back? Yes. A lot. So depending on what your state law is, in my state, they have 7 days to get it out. If they don't, then it's considered abandoned property, and then we pick through it. Usually what I'll do is I've made contact with a couple of people and I'm like, listen, if there's anything good there, you can keep it. And I'll even, I'll even provide what's there so you can just toss it all and anything you want to keep. So I basically get the labor for free. Then they get to keep anything that they want to keep, like a couch or a chair or something like that, or a nightstand. Kind of pickers. Yeah. So modern pickers that like do furniture and flip that sort of stuff. Christopher Leroy. I like mowing, but it for looks, buy for life. Yep, great warranty. Yeah, mowing's got some great styles for sure, 100%. I just like the Kohler stuff. When I put a Kohler faucet in, I mean, I usually don't have to replace it, and it can withstand like decent cleaning, because it's not a cobbled together piece. But I buy them smart. I buy them off of people going out of business. I buy them off of people that, are doing a last season style blowout, so I'm getting it for 30 or 40 or 50% off. I'm not walking into Home Depot paying retail for a Kohler. Ironwood. I have used dried dog food for rats and mice. I crush it a bit and use the plastic traps that have the tray you can set it in. Okay. On the farm in West Virginia, the mice and rats can get out of control fast. Yeah, I've actually seen that. Holy Toledo, have I seen that? Because they have reproductive is every 20, 28, 21 or 28 days. Let's see. Sam Fire. Thanks, Matt. Can you talk a little more on how you do set up your property search with agents based on your zoning criteria you would have? What keywords do you give agents to yield what you want? So that's a great question. I have more of a broad one. So I might not be one to follow Sam on this, but I will answer your question and tell you how I do it. So how I do it is 2s, 3s, and 4s. In the 3 towns that I shop in, I want every listing, every one. For me, there's not a ton of inventory. I service 3 towns that total 50,000 people in population. So I want to know everything that comes to market in the 2s, 3s, and 4s. So I have no criteria for my 2s, 3s, or 4s. It's, I want to see it all. In those 3 towns, I want everything. That's 3 different, that's 3 of my searches. That and then another search is the single family with ADU, granny flat, blah, blah, blah. Which is, ADU or off suite, or talk to your agents and see what terminology they typically use to describe that. So I have a search for that. That stuff never comes, or that stuff almost never comes to market. And then everything else is the other stuff is just anything over 5 units. I just want to know what hits the market commercially, and so I keep an eye on that too. Just so I can kind of, I don't do a lot in that game, but it's like there might be that asset that comes available where you're like, I think maybe that. So I've bought some stuff like that. I wasn't searching for it at all. It came across, the price per unit was, they originally wanted 135 grand a unit, and I got it down to about 110 a unit. So I got down to 110 a unit, and that building now just absolutely prints money. It's my biggest purchase. I think it was 12 units, and I bought that in 2021 beginning. I think we're just coming up on the year anniversary of that building for us. It's been a good year. Well, the first 90 days kind of sucked, but we expected it would because we were buying it from somebody that didn't take care of their property. What else is new? Robert Farinelli. And for the insulation, I have 7-inch deep cavities in the basement. Okay. I'm assuming it's the same in the ceiling, maybe, but likely. I'll be opening up to install bathroom fan. Yeah, if you're opening up to install a bathroom fan, it costs you nothing to move it. I mean, well, it costs you something, but it's not all the demo stuff. So if you're already in there doing demo, if you're already going to have to do sheetrock, if you're already going to have to do follow-up work, I would do something like that. On the 7.5-inch or 7-inch stuff, you're probably good at that point with doing an R38 is my guess. You can probably do an R38. And what I've done with the R38, which is pretty awesome. I actually buy, they sell it by, I think like by the 100 feet maybe, or 200 feet. It's like that nylon strapping. It's not as strong as the stuff they make seatbelts out of, but it's kind of that same type of material. What I do is I pressure fit it in the bay, but just in case there's heat expansion and contraction, or one joist might be, a 1/4 of an inch off from another joist. One of the things I do is I just take that strapping and I use a staple gun, and then I use that as my strapping just to go right across the top and just staple right in the top. So it holds it from actually coming down and falling into the basement for some reason. That served me well. You can use wood strapping, but then that's actually pretty thick, and then you're using screws, and then you're holding your hand over your head and all this other stuff. It's like if you just start the strap on one side, like you hold it, strap it, and then you can literally just pull it along, strap, pull it along, staple, pull it along, staple. It's actually pretty good. It's worked pretty well for me because it's just there to kind of hold things in. So yeah. So when you try to soundproof the 7-inch, yep, a soundproofing is different. Insulation is different than soundproofing. Soundproofing is their Safe and Sound product, not anything else. I do 2 layers of 3.5 Safe and Sound, or 1 layer of Safe and Sound, then 1 layer of, yeah, that would fill it. Yep. And the Safe and Sound doesn't really have a whole lot of insular quality. So I'd be interested to know what that sound attenuation is like. So let me know. Let me know what that sounds like when you're done that project. LOL, flash sale at the Lumberjack's house. That's right, Niner. That's awesome. Scott Coleman, did you go to Target or Walmart to get your t-shirt? Sadly, they don't stock these yet. We will have them on the site this week. I actually had to cancel. It wasn't my web guy's fault this week. I had to cancel the call Wednesday that I had with them because we ended up doing a closing on Wednesday, a closing on Thursday, and a closing on Friday. And every single day was extensions, binders, Alta statements, disclosures. It was all of that stuff nonstop for 3 days. That was awful. This last week was largely, it was great acquiring those 3 assets, but holy cow, this week was a kind of a bucket of suck because it was just so much unbelievable work. All-nighter hider. Haha, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, the hairy chest there. Yeah, you go. Yeah, no, it's a hard pass. It's not like this for those of you that care. It's pretty sparse. I'm a worker, man. I do not care if I need to cool down. I just will take my shirt off. Oh yeah. Yeah, but you're on YouTube, man. You're not on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, like that would get me banned. Nicholas Massey, how do you handle your mail for all your properties? A PO box. Yep. How do you manage and keep that from missing a payment on a utility or something? PO box. Yep. Still a PO box. All of our utilities, we also set up web accounts on. And so you can set up a web account where you can set up an alert where it like alerts you 10 days before it's due or something like that. The key for us is it actually turns you into a very prompt payer. Like I want to know when something's due, not when it's overdue or a week before it's due. And you can set up those alerts. So that's what we've done. That's what we've had to do. In our local utility for electric, they only allow 30 accounts per ID. So we have 4 IDs. Now we're going to have to go 5. We have 4 IDs. And the reason that we have 4 IDs is because when somebody leaves a unit, it then rolls back into your name. So we have to keep that going, or at least on there. And so then we just look at it every month and say, yes, they paid, no, they didn't, whatever. Or they need to get it in their name, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, PO box, and we're just proactive payers. So we'll set up an alert for like a week before something's due. We'll just set up our alerts and then we just pay it when it comes due. Chester Williams, good question. I agree. It was a good question, but that's how we do it. CJ Underwood, what is the difference between laminate and vinyl flooring? Ease of install, price, quality, looking for both now for options on a tenant term, second floor. Yes. So it can be all of those things. It can be ease of install, price, quality. Usually it's price and quality. What you'll find is on the cheaper stuff and like the laminate, where it's really truly like you can tell the cheap stuff, the corners will break, the edges where they hook in like this, you'll see this part snap off or this part snap off. She'll actually see pieces snap off. It'll also be the wear layer that's on top. Like obviously that's printed. The question is how quality was the printing? You know, you can actually see ones that literally look like they were taken with an out of focus camera. So I would tell you what you're looking for is wear layer. And then I like commercial LVP in residential application because you get a 30-year warranty. And if they're going to give you a 30-year warranty, they know that you're not going to get wear patterns and things like that. So I actually like the LVP commercial stuff. And that's what I've installed in most of my properties. But that's what I would tell you. Auto pay everything you can. Yep. CJ Underwood, you're right. Yeah, we have all of our mortgages are auto deduct. Yeah, the only thing that isn't is electric because we want to make sure that it's actually our bill. What else? Same with gas. Same with natural gas. Yep. Yeah, so we're pretty automated. We could get a little bit more automated, but I think we would people might start to take advantage. Mandy W, love the hair. Thank you very much. What kind of windows do you use in rentals? I'm in Pittsburgh, so sort of cold winters, but not as bad as where you're at. Have a cracked window in a rental unit that I need to replace. So Lansing Building Products, they're the manufacturers of a product called Harvey. Harvey was the original company. Lansing bought them out. Harvey windows are really, really good. Has been my experience. Matthews Brothers windows I also use. Pella and Anderson, in my eyes, are far too expensive. You're buying the name there. There is quality too, but you're mainly paying for the name. What I would do is I would look at the spec. And so you're looking for a low E, argon gas, double pane window. That's what you're looking for. And then it's just a matter of how nice the line is, i.e. what level, like they usually have 4 or 5 different levels. I don't buy the bottom. I don't buy the second up from the bottom. If it's a 4, if I have 4 options, I don't buy the top one, I buy the next one down. If I have 5 options, I'll buy the one in the middle, unless the one second from the top is also, really is like the variation in price is that much better. The big thing is your grill design, i.e. that's in the windows. And so that grill design is usually what dictates a lot of price as well. If you want to go open by open, which is no grill, no grill. So it's a double hung window, no grill is an open over open. Or it's a one light over one light, depending on who you talk to or what you ask. And then anytime you look at a window and maybe has just a slant down the middle. Well, the old style windows in our area would have a slant on the middle on the top sash. That window piece is called a sash of a double hung. Then you get another bottom sash, but that top sash would have a split down the middle, and that would be called a 2 light, right? It's however many lights you see. And then the one over the bottom, that was completely banked. So it was called a 2 over 1. And then you can have a 2 over 2 or a 6 over 6. For a long time, 6 over 6s were the most popular. But now a lot of people are doing away with them because they make the window too busy and they block views. And so we're usually a 2 over 1 or a 2 over 2. If it's just a regular replacement where we're not ordering a bunch of windows, we'll usually go with a 1 over 1 unless we're trying to make it match. But if it's like a window in the backyard or a window on the side and doesn't really get seen, if we're just trying to fix a problem, we'll just do a 1 over 1. Shamir. Hey, Shamir, it's been a while. Good to have you back. Oh my goodness, you guys have a bunch of questions. Hey, Matt, we had 36 Fahrenheit this morning in Central Mass. 30. We didn't hit freezing, but we got really close, 34. Did you finally use non-QM on one of your recent deals? I did. I used velocity on a 50-40-10. So I did a 50-40-10 deal and it was awesome. All right, found for a 50 square foot bathroom, it currently has vanity lighting. Should I go fan without a light, fan with a light? Fan with a light. I would just do fan with a light. I would do, I wouldn't do, I don't usually use vanities anymore. I use mirrors with lights, or mirror with a light, light above it, like a pretty light bar or something like that. But all are options. I think 3 100 watt equivalent lights in the vanity is enough for 50 square feet. Yep, it can be. Yeah, I always like to put the other light in too, only because that fixture costs maybe 50 more bucks. It doesn't take any more work to implement and install. And if you ever, for any reason, you have a problem on that circuit on the one for there, you at least have another light in the room. Yeah, so I like that. Are water heaters in your area oil fired? Oh, sweet Lord, no. Some are. They're super expensive. If you want an oil fired hot water heater, they're about $2,000 to $2,200 bucks. They're very expensive. They're almost always electric or gas. Yeah, almost always. Robert Farinelli, last thing is is it still worth it to buy from American Flooring Corp if you only need a small amount of flooring? I think they need 2,000 square feet to get the free shipping. They change styles often, it seems. Is it still? No, I don't think so. On small quantity, no. No, if I needed something small like that, I would likely, I would do like a home, like if I needed 50 square feet or something, I buy enough stock where I have it there, right? So I have it there sitting there waiting for me. So I recognize my approach is different than most others because of that reason. But yeah, largely speaking, I would, yeah, if I needed, what I would do is if I only needed that much, I'd look for it on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and I'd buy somebody else's project leftovers that they might have 100 square feet. I'd buy that. That's what I would do. Hopefully that helped. Amber Chan. Hi, Amber Chan. Thanks for asking a question. Would you still consider buying a listing if it has mold on the walls? Does it normally mean that there is leaking? Yes, I have bought a house with mold. I bought a house that was covered in mold on the inside. You can look at the before pictures. You have to look for which link might work. But 2 Whittier Falls Way in Dover, New Hampshire. I bought that and the place was covered in black mold. True story. I wouldn't buy it unless I'm getting some sort of a credit, because that work could be thousands of dollars. It could be thousands. It might only be hundreds, but it could be thousands. And I would have them remediate it. But they'd have to get a certification saying that there was no mold present. But I would try and get a credit. For me, I would try and get a credit because I know I can do it cheaper than they can. And I know I'll do it right because I care about what the result is. Robert Finley, well, you just gave me good advice for insulating my basement to R38 bonus content. See, there you go. Except the finished room in my basement that I want to soundproof. Okay. Yeah. Any combination thereof, Robert. Nicholas Massey, do you have any utilities in your name? Yep, because the town requires it for the landlord. And if so, what's your recommendation for billing the tenant for the utility and how long do you give them to pay it? We have in the past with utilities, it is not required in our town that it be in our name. And so we do it because water and sewer service, we want to make sure is always working and running, and tenants, sometimes will ignore those bills. And then I'm the one who has to deal with the problem. So a lot of times I just figure out about what our normal payments are and I make that part of the rent. I've not sent a separate bill except for in the case where I contract with a commercial company that puts workers in those units. And then in that case, I just say, you're getting billed. And so I still keep it in my name because I want to see it. But I do send them the bill and then they pay me back for it. I don't know if they didn't pay me for how long. I would say I would probably make that follow under the same terms of eviction, which is they haven't paid the bills of the unit. But you'd probably want to structure something like that. Is there any consequences? Sam Farho, is there any letting consequences to letting a PO box expire and it is on lease? I don't receive anything there. Main communication with tenant and insurance is email, text, and call. PO box expire. It's on the lease. I don't know. I think if it's on the lease, but you send a letter saying this is to notify you that no longer will these be, and then I would make a copy of that in email. So I would make sure I'm delivering it via email, make sure I'm delivering it via regular mail. I would probably do it like certified, $4. I would send it certified and then they have to sign for it. Then they know they got the letter. That way they can make the excuse. Well, the reason you would change your rent was because I was sending it to the PO box. Well, then it would get returned and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would send them a letter notifying them 30 days. What do you mean by the second to the top? Is it from the top price? Yes. Second from the top price. Yes. Yep. So if the Princess Diana level, we don't do those. We do the next step down. Princess Kate, the next step down, I guess. Horrible analogy, but I'm not British. I do have friends that are British that will watch this though, and I'm sure I'm going to hear it. Let's see. Any differences in strategies when dealing with tree rats? Had a call that a squirrel was running around in between the walls. Little fella kept outsmarting me. American flooring won't freight to Alaska. Any other suggestions? Bill, any other suggestions? All right. So no, I don't know about tree rats. They're dumb. They're dumber than rats. Rats are really smart. Those guys are just stupid. And so when you hear them usually scurrying about, my exterminator guy says that they're so much easier to catch. For them, it just comes down to figuring out, like if you go up in your attic and see they're getting into the place, you block that, they're not going to be able to figure that out. That's what we've typically seen. Another place. No other place that I know of, Phil, but I can talk to a couple of people. I would say big box store, and then open up like open up an account with them, like a commercial account with them, and then do something called the bid room. You'll probably be disappointed. Like I went and I did a project, and just for giggles, I wanted to see how much it was. It was like $12,000 or $14,000 worth of product I put in the bid room. So if it was $12,000, I want to say my savings was like $80. I was like, well, this wasn't worth it at all. It wasn't even worth my time to input the stuff I needed. But yeah, I would look at the big box and then see if you can, set up with a corporate account, create a corporate account. I would do something like that. Whereas in my trust, you can structure it. You can just find out how to best structure that, because you don't have to open up an LLC to have a corporate, or to have a contractor account. Putting on the bathroom lights on the circuit per code. The bathroom circuit lights per code. I see a clearance kitchen vanity light half off. I want a nice style nickel finish. I'm afraid both the fan light is too much. I would ask the electrician. I don't think that's too much. I don't think that's too much at all, especially if you make it a 20 amp circuit. Shouldn't be a problem at all. But yeah. Ironwood, Raffinelli, I've had very good luck with hardwood floors in my rentals, but you need someone that knows what they're doing. Yep, you want to do it the old school way, not the pre-finished stuff. Exactly. The unfinished wood, usually like a 3 1/4 red oak, B class, unfinished, and then you want to do coat of sealer, double coat of poly, polish, and you're done. Yep. Unless it is the type you can pop in and out by the section. Yep. I even use in the kitchen. Okay. Or finally, because I'm opening it up, sealing currently on ungrounded wire in bathroom, I'm going to fix it. Yeah, I would fix it. And yeah, I would fix it. Only place I don't use wood floors is the bathroom. Yeah, that's a good idea. Those will always be stained. Christopher Leroy, the only bill I want in my name is the sewer bill, because the city can put a lien on the property and tax. Yep, that's right. Yep. So they can for water, sewer. So I know that you can give 2 separate bills, but they can for water and for sewer. The other reason that I want the water bill in my name is this. If most towns have something where if they see that water's been running for 24 hours, they will actually alert you. They'll send you a letter, which I freaking hate. You're like, well, it's a day or two. Yeah, so I could have water running for 72 hours. But that could be something like a toilet. It could be any number of things. So I strongly encourage people I leave them in my name, because I want to know on the water side if I'm getting a leak like that. On the sewer side, making sure, to Christopher's point, absolutely, they can put a lien on your property. Yep. Financial firefighter. I didn't expect that when I jumped on. Morning from Hawaii. Good morning. Robert Fernelli, too much light, not too much amps. I've never had a complaint saying someone saying this bathroom's too bright. I have had the complaint when the only light source in the bathroom goes out. Have had that complaint. We've only got that one light. Then I have to make it an emergency now, don't I? So if I have a second light, I don't have to make that thing an emergency. Sam Farho, I get rent online, not through a mailbox. Well, now you do, Sam, but the next property that you might buy, you might not, right? So I do as many online rentals as I can, but I do have some tenants in their 60s and their 70s who only write checks. They will only write a check. They won't do it any other way. And so I have to, as you get bigger, you have to cater to that many more ways. And I always want to make it easy to get paid. So I will go out of my way. There's one really nice older lady. It's a huge production for her to get to the mailbox or the post office, or she doesn't want to leave it in the mailbox. And she sometimes can get to the post office, but blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, that's fine. We'll just pick it up. So we have one person that we pick it up from just to help them. So Frank Contreras, hey Matt, my experience with putting materials through the bid room at Home Depot is that the discounts they give correlate to their profit margins. It is, yep, it is. The problem is that a lot of the big stuff, like I think a lot of it was wire for some reason. It was just one of those things where there just wasn't a lot there. So it does correlate to their margin. But that means that they have a number of things that they sell that are really low margin, and it's there to get you to buy the really expensive stuff. And that's fine, but to spend an hour and a half putting something into bid room and to see that I'm going to get $80 on a $12,000 order. Yeah, that's not good. Ryan Allen. I like the 2 lights in the bathroom. I have the fan with the light with one switch and lights over the mirror and the separate switch. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I'm a fan of having a second backup source that's already built in. If anything ever happens. Oh, look at that. It's 1 o'clock. All right, we'll wrap up these questions. Frank Contreras, my luck is I always need the stuff they don't have. Yeah, exactly, Frank. Exactly right. Yeah, like I said, I think I did one for 12,000. It was like $80. And I think I did one for, what was it? Maybe like 50. Maybe I did 2 different ones. With one were 12 and one were 15. And it was really disappointing both times. It was like less than $100. And I get it, $100, penny saved, penny earned, but that kind of sucked because it takes like an hour, hour and a half to put everything in. And at the end of the day, what have we really done? I'd much rather walk through the store, putting my order together and doing it that way, because that way I know that I'm not going to miss anything. Or even walk through and go, oh, you know what? I didn't think I need that, but let's just get that just in case. That sort of approach. Yeah, evictions on background checks. Okay, cool. Yeah, yep, exactly. So this was Kevin's message that he sent. It said people were upgrading homes and buying bigger, leaving first-time homebuyer places available. With rates going up, people are staying in their homes. Yes, as you alluded to. Yep, and that pool of homes is no longer there. So the first-time home buyers and folks entering the housing market will have to rent. True. Yep, driving rents. And yes, sir. Evictions on background checks for sure. Yeah. So it's usually a background check that you'll find that eviction on. You just have to get them to say that or tell them if you have an eviction, it's not going to work. Let's see. Sorry. Agent in the field. Do they fear the whole system coming down when it's at 16% or something? Yeah, I think so. Yep. Yeah, I think what they fear is not so much the residential debt, but the commercial debt. The commercial debt, which is a massive part of the economy, that resets every 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 years, depending on what your note is with your bank or what your terms are with your bank. And so that's where you run into the problems. That's what hurts the most. Okay. Sorry, agent in the field. So yeah, all-nighter hider. Great ear candy today. Hit that like, everyone. Yeah, thanks, all-nighter. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. It was an awesome, okay, should get in. Perfect. It was an awesome day hanging out with you guys. If you guys have any questions, please, after the video post, you'll be able to put the other questions in there, help other folks out. Great hanging out with you. And I appreciate you guys letting me get shouty, but numbers are what the numbers are. So if you want to, one of the ways that YouTube channels grow is if you actually take this and post it other places. Not me, I can't do that. Or I sort of do that. But if you guys take this and are like, somebody's like, oh, shouty about the houses, have watched the first 15 minutes of this video. A, they won't like me. That's okay. That's a big, long, distinguished list. But most importantly is they'll have more information. So I appreciate you guys very much. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Clearly the agent needs me because she keeps on texting me. She's driving me just a little bit bonkers, but that's all right. We'll fix this. So guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. Shop for the big box store. I shop online, then email ProDesk. The cart's a little faster. That's smart. Yeah, I think the big thing is just the amount of time it takes to put in. That's the big issue. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Thanks to everybody who watched, and have an awesome, awesome week. Tuesdays, I'll be doing it with Mike's doing one rental at a time. Thursdays, 3 amigos, and then a couple special guests over the next couple of weeks. And then some video of actually in the new units that I just closed on. So guys, have an absolutely fantastic week. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And thanks for hanging out. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, everybody.